G'day everyone, it's Courtesy and welcome to my next video in my CFMOTO 450 build series. Today we're concentrating on luggage. Today we're going to be covering 3 different types of luggage that are all in different sizes and price points, and we're also going to be installing this B&B rear rack that's also a pillion handle delete. I'm going to start off with budget. We've got the Rhino Walk 18 litre bags. They're 9 litres a side. I've had them for a couple of years. They're a really good cheap option, so we'll see how they fit. If you want to save a bit of money, they're definitely worth having a look at. Then we've got the Giant Loop Mojave. This is a very different kind of system. If you want to go lightweight, I would definitely look into these. They're only 12 litres, 6 a side, but they are expandable and they're one piece, which is great. But they do not fit because of these suckers here. They're pillion handles. In fact, on all of this luggage, they make them quite difficult to fit the luggage onto. We'll go over that soon. Then we've got the bags that I'm actually going to be using on the bike and for the foreseeable future. These are the Endurostand Blizzard 2 25 litres. They're 12.5 litres a side. So for someone like me who's never going to have a pillion on their bike, these, look, they're great for pulling the bike around when you stacked it, but that's about it. Otherwise they get it in the way of luggage. I'll show you with the Giant Loop Mojaves. These are supposed to hug around onto your bike. They just simply can't with these here. Now there's a couple of ways we can remove those. One is to get the delete kit that I've got from B&B that adds a really trick rack on the back as well. That's, you know, extremely versatile. We'll get into that. If you want to save a bit of money, you can just take off these, the rack here, and add a grab handle on the back or something like that, and then you're adding this luggage here anyway, you don't need this rack on the back. So that's another option if you want to save a bit of money. But today I'm going to be putting on the B&B rack. I'll also show you that they don't really work with the other systems I've got. You'll see with this, it's got the system on top. Now that sits on here, and then you can thread it through. Now ideally you want these sides to be nice and snug up against the side of your bike, but the problem is you can't really open them and shut them or get to them very easily. They're just in the way. You really got to work around them. So what we're going to do first, we'll take that off, we'll chuck on the rack, and then we'll go through these luggage systems and see what works for the bike. You know, I know people have different budgets and different purposes for what they want their bike to be for, whether they want to travel, lightweight, enduro, or anything like that. Me, I'm a less is more kind of guy with luggage. You know, I use those Rhino Walks to go 2,000 kilometers with, and then just a top bag, whereas some people know like to load up. I think these are about as big as you want to go on each side, and that's 12.5 litres. Righto, enough talking. Let's get that off and the B&B rack on. Before we get stuck in, I'll show you what comes in the pack. We've got the luggage plate. Man, it looks so trick. Their fit and finish is simply brilliant. I love B&B gear. Then we got a base plate. That's going to install onto here, like so, and then this will go on top like that. Then we got some spacers and bolts. And I don't know if they listened to me on the last video I did. We've got instructions with pictures. So good. So what we do is take the seat off, take the rack off, install this base plate, and then chuck that on top. Seat off. This all needs to come off, which should be pretty easy. I just think it's 4 bolts. So what we had to do was remove this bolt there and that bolt there. They are 13 mils. Then we take off the plastic plate that goes on top. That one down there. That's just with an Allen key. Then we had to take off these 2 here with Allen keys as well. So I've been struggling to try to get this on with that bracket. You're supposed to remove it. B&B, the clever devils, they put holes in here so you can get your screwdriver in and remove the bracket. Thank goodness, because I was struggling. So I'll show you what I've done here. It's got the countersunk bolts at the front. Make sure they're going in good, yep. Then there's spacers underneath here. And then these go into here. So it's actually got the 4 mounting points. So this should be absolutely rock solid, wrong size. Should be a tank. Okay, that one goes through there. Pretty easy to do. Here is the B&B rack all installed, everyone. I have to say, it's an absolute tank. This Just want to load it up, you're not going to have any issues at all. It's a really rock solid base. See, it's got plenty of tie down points and holes for lots of luggage options. We'll start off with the cheap options I have. The Rhino Walk 18 litre bags. These I got for, I think it was $180 delivered. If you look on AliExpress, they're even cheaper, like 140, 150. I've used these a lot. If you want to see a trip I did use them on, it was my Triumph Tiger 1200 video where I rode from Brisbane to Sydney. I really rate them. They are cheap and cheerful. They are good bags. Now, let's see how they fit. A lot of people are going to use these because they are honestly perfect for this bike. With those grab handles on, I did try to fit them. It works, but it's fiddly. You have to kind of go under or over one section of the grab handles. It's a bit annoying. Much easier with these off. Now we'll come up. These are adjustable. If we come into there, you can see these straps in the middle here. You just undo that, you can tighten it and loosen it for the kind of bike you've got. Now that just sits over here and you tighten and loosen it for the bike you have, as I mentioned, to get your heights right. You want it to fit nice and snug. These are really simple, guys. Now on my setup, I would go through here, up here. Now I don't have anything in the bag, so they are a bit floppy, that's what she said. And then you just tighten it up there. You cinch it down from there, boom. It's secure against these luggage wraps. These luggage racks are absolutely fantastic for securing soft bags too, because they don't flop around too much. Now on the back, we got this tag here. If you have a different kind of rack on the back, I got the B&B one I just put on, has tons of tie down points. If you've got the stock rack, you can still make it work, or if you've got something like a giant loop, their little rack, people have been screwing onto the back, it looks really neat and tidy, you can do that as well. Got a loop here, you just put it through where you want it. Me personally, I'll do it through the closest one. You pull it through the loop, tighten it off, and then this just goes through another one of those tightening straps. Boom, that's it. They're installed. They're a very good setup, these, for the price. I highly recommend them. Completely waterproof and dustproof. Not a review, but I'll give a couple of little things I don't like. How you get into it, just this, and this folds over on itself and tightens on itself with some clips, which are all fully adjustable as well. You just push it together and you roll down. It does come undone a little bit. You gotta watch that, and it's a little bit fiddly. These look like they'll work absolutely perfectly on this bike. So if you're thinking about running these, I can definitely recommend them as a cheaper option. These are the Giant Loop Mojaves version 2, which means they're redesigned and completely waterproof and dustproof. 12 litres, 6 litres a side, a bit of a more minimalist setup. I bought them to go on my dirt bikes for a light adventure bike setup, and on a bike like this, where you want to keep things nice and light, you're doing easy overnight trips or something like that. They're completely rackless, as you can see. Very simple to set up. We'll see how we go on this. I haven't fit it before, but I've had a quick look, so we should get a rough idea. I've undone the seat. Now, they come with some straps to strap the setup on, and also some clips. The clips are if you're using it for, say, a rear mudguard or something like that, you can strap this through that and then through this bit here. So what I'm going to do, I've just loosened the seat off. I'm going to run this strap, this pronghorn strap they call it, that comes with it, through here, and then I'm actually going to go under the seat. Then I'm going to try and get the seat on, which is always fun on this bike. Got it? Okay. Then what we want to do is get our straps through. So if you've got the rear foot peak hanger, strap it around that, I would recommend, or you can do it through the frame as well. I'm going to do this side and then we'll work on that side. I'm going to try it through here initially. You can go through the frame here, also up here as well. There's, I mean, look how long that is. You can go so many different ways. You can literally go to there and back and it'll still work. Now they look really smart. I'm actually a bit surprised of how well they've turned out. They are a bit small. You can't fit a lot in them. You're probably getting spares on this side and a set of clothes on the other. That's about it. We'll see if they get in the way. I can definitely go back a fair bit. I reckon we could go way back to here if we really wanted. Not too bad actually, not too bad at all. They're nice and neat and tidy and out of the way. So one of the complaints with the Mojaves is there isn't a lot of storage, and I completely get it. There really isn't. It's 6 litres a side, and it's not, you know, like a 6 litres we can stuff a lot into it. It wraps around the bike so they don't really puff out. Now what you could do is a fair few different options. The first is, I believe these are called Impossibles pouches. You can strap one onto the back here, boom. There's loops here, we can just strap it straight on, that way or that way. There's an extra 6 litres straight up. If you want to keep it really minimalist, you can put one there. Another option you can do, this all undoes. We'll get rid of that for the moment. You can tie this through here. I haven't gone through the molly points, but you get the idea here. Geez, there's a good quality, all the straps and everything. Boom. There's an extra 6 litres either side if you want it. Now it does cause it to stick out a little bit more, so that is something to be wary of, but these are made to be modular and expandable. So a lot of people were pretty negative on them because they're like, oh man, 6 litres a side, and it's not, as I mentioned, you can't stuff a lot into them, but they're good in that they're expandable. So I think these are a really valid option. I've got no affiliation with these guys at all. You know, I'm just going by what I see. And one of the good things is magnetic here at the top, so they strip down really easy and easy to get into, and they fold up really nicely. These, they just work really well, that little bit higher quality than say the Rhino Walks, where they're cheap and cheerful. They do the job, whereas these are definitely much higher quality. Everything's that bit thicker and it's really robust. It does limit you if you want to take a pillion. It's taken up the whole back of the seat here, and if you're sitting on that, it would be extremely uncomfortable. I wouldn't recommend that. And the seat on this is pretty wide at the back, so it doesn't really fold around like it would on a dirt bike, this being a bigger adventure bike. So look, it's a valid option if you've got a set and you want something that's really minimalist. I don't know if I would recommend it for this bike, just from what I'm doing so far. The Mojaves themselves I do recommend, just maybe not on the CFMOTO. Next we have the Endurostan Blizzard 2 25 litres. They are 12.5 litres a side. They are completely rackless as well, which suits me perfectly because I don't like running racks on bikes. Look, these are a bit higher quality than the previous two, about $550 Australian. They're extremely high quality, guys. It's completely waterproof, dustproof. They got molly all over them, so you can expand them on the front, the tops, and on the backs behind. They've also got clips here that automatically break if you're in a crash once you pass a certain kilogram threshold, and it comes with replaceable clips as well, so that's a really good option. Also on top here, we'll come in close. You can see it's got all molly straps that sits over your seat as well. So look, they're a very high quality bit of kit and really well thought out. Now, these, they fit when you got the grab handles on still. They actually fit a fair bit better than the Rhino Walks, because how these adjust, you can get them under and through that bit easier. So you just go under the grab handles, no issues at all. You can adjust the tops depending on the bike you got and how wide your seat is and how snug you want them to be. Fantastic. One of the great things about this is Velcro at the top. The material is much thicker. You can notice it's just a higher quality material than this. On the Rhino Walks, they always come undone at top. These do not do that. Fold them over on each other, up like that. This just goes over the top and clips in on itself. Really good, simple setup. So this is the mounting mechanism here. It's all made of metal. You just unscrew the bottom there and put it through your rack or your rear guard or subframe or something like that if you're on a dirt bike. This is the longer bolt if you need it. We don't need it on the CFMOTO. I can just use this one here. Oh, these clever devils. They think of everything here, don't they, at B&B? This B&B rack here actually has holes that go through, the perfect size for these at various locations, so you can mount them at different points. We'll just put it there for today. So it comes with a couple of different straps here, shorter and longer. I'll just use the short one today. So this clip goes over here, then you tighten the bag onto it. That is a, all right, I like that, I like that. Massively long straps again. If you want on this bike, how I've got it set up, you can utilize the rails on the luggage racks too. But today we'll just go through here. So I'm just seeing, you know, showing you all what luggage options are out there and what works. All right, that works perfectly. So that is them all fitted up, the Enduro stands. They are the pick of the bunch. They are absolutely fantastic. I'm loving how simple they are to set up, and they're rock solid. They're not really wobbly or anything like that, especially when there's luggage in there and that's tied down. Now, let me just grab something for you. You want to expand? Chuck a couple of these bad boys on the top, and then also one on the bottom if you really want, or you can put your water bottle there or something like that. That's great. Complete molly set up on there, so you can strap everything through. Yeah, they're absolute piss of these ones, guys. I really like them, not getting in the way at all. That's where I usually sit there, standing setup. Yeah, they're great. I really like this option here. Another thing you can do is, I got this big old Giant Loop Rogue bag. You can strap it to the mollies just in here. If you've got a strap, there's so many tie down points on here you can attach it to. So if you want to expand, boom, you can chuck one there, or you can put it sideways, probably put it lengthways so it's not in the way, and I can just open these right up. Really cool system on these. They're like these metal clips that only work at a certain angle, so they're not just going to flop open. And, oh, got to mention, there's compartments underneath here as well for, I don't know, whatever you want in there. And with this rear rack, one of the great things is, or even with the other rack, is chuck this sucker on the back, put your camping gear there. You got a big bag, put it there. Put this one sideways like that, or that, still put your camping gear on there. I really rate these so far. I haven't, you know, had them out in the wild yet, but the quality is just, man, they're bloody tough. They seem like they'll do a really good job. Also wanted to try the Moto Nomad bags, but I haven't been able to get them yet. They are bigger setup again, 20 litres a side, so that's something you're looking at. I would look them up. They're completely Australian design. Might look at them in the future, but for now, I think these particular ones will be perfect for me. The Mojave, if you got a set at home, I'd try it, but for me, they're not a great fit. The Rhino Walks, if you want to go for a cheap option, they fit fantastic, so I'd look at them as well. Now, I've also got these in a 15 litre setup, so 7.5 litres a side. That's another option. If you want to go for a bit more compact and smaller, I would look at that too. I'm going to run them on some light adventure dirt bike setups I'm doing in the future. But this size, I personally wouldn't go bigger myself. There's the 35 litres too. I'd just stick to the 25s and then put your bag on top. If you need much more than that, man, you're carrying the kitchen sink. In terms of the B&B rack, the quality is absolutely fantastic, and you're adding storage space, and probably the biggest thing for me is you're getting rid of the grab handles, which are really in the way of a lot of rackless setups. The bad thing is you're adding a bit of weight. It's right over the back here. Look, that's pretty standard for most adventure bikes. Your rack's going at the back here. And you're getting rid of grab handles in that you can't use them to maneuver the bike around if you're doing crazy hard riding. I will say that when you're set up like this, you're probably not doing that kind of riding. For me personally, if I'm set up like this, I limit my riding a bit to more of the touring style. And look, if you really want you stuck, use this big sucker to move it around. There's plenty of maneuverability there. Or you could also, I might look at doing this, add a couple of like rope grab handles, like, you know, the hard enduro style on the sides here, just in case, let's say, you don't have these on and you're getting a bit crazy. You've got them there to lift the bike around and maneuver it. I'll tell you this thing's pretty heavy, guys. On my harder rides, I've had to lift it up by there. Oh man, you really know about it. You try to think of alternative ways to do it because it's just so heavy at the back. I mean, it's about 200 kilos, probably 205 with my current setup. All right, guys, let me know what you think of the setup I've currently gone with. And also, if you're running luggage, I'd really like to know what setups you've got. I'm sure other people would be curious too, so make sure you put that in the comments down below. If you haven't, make sure you click that subscribe button. Check out my other content. There's also going to be plenty more content on the CFMOTO 450. All right, keep it on the back wheel, everyone. Catches.